Hello, and today, again, Jim Dowson, guest presenter with the Templar Report. I'm reporting today from Spain, Espanol. I've came down the country from Madrid to Toledo, where they're getting ready for the big Corpus Christi celebrations next week. And quite an incredible sight, actually. The whole town is done with banners and flags and holy banners and saints and all that stuff. Quite incredible. So on the surface of it, especially for people in America, you look at Europe and its church attendance and its religiosity. And on paper, you would think places like Spain are completely pagan now, heathen, because there's a very low church attendance. But I want to put that straight. Here in Spain, every person's entire life, from day to day, week to week, month to month, is dictated to by the ecclesiastical calendar. So for today, for example, today, this morning we woke up with church bells and fireworks because this is First Communion Day. So you have all over the country hundreds of thousands of boys and girls making their First Communion. Later on today we're going to see a procession in a small village just outside this town. But a few hours ago, this whole square, which is quite a substantial square, was filled with people. Hundreds, from a small town, hundreds and hundreds of young boys and young girls make their First Communion. And they have the local bands, the marching bands out, they have the local dignitaries, they have all the holy orders out. In this town, not Templars, but many other groups like Templars who go back centuries. And interesting, well, we're standing in a square right now. There's a beautiful Christian church here, built on top of the site of a mosque. Because remember, in Spain, the Muslims controlled this country for 800 years. And had to be forcibly pushed out, and that took several hundred years to push them out. Less than 2 miles from here there's a harem. It's been recreated, where the caliphs kept the northern European, mainly Irish and English and Scottish women who were captured. One harem had 20,000 slaves, sex slaves in it. Strange how the Liberals never mention these things. But this is the reality in Europe, especially what I would call Latin Europe, Spain, Italy, to a certain degree France. There are hundreds of thousands of men in these religious orders, holy orders, secular orders. So people go to their work during the day, but they go to meetings once a month and they dress up in their finery and they're in these religious orders. And every single week in Spain, there is a festival, a religious festival. People are carrying the Madonna, the Virgin Mary, the Monstrant, the Corpus Christi. Every single town and village does this. So on paper, very few Spanish people go to church. But today, all over Spain, millions, and tens of millions of people will be on the streets tonight. The boys and girls will be processioned through all the towns and villages. The bands will be out, the holy orders will be out, the fireworks will be going on, and people will eat and drink way into the small hours. We're actually going to a dinner at 10 o'clock tonight. Very strange, the Spanish eat very late. So 10 o'clock tonight we'll be having a dinner with all the fathers and mothers and grandparents of these kids who are making their First Communion. And remember, in the First Communion, the kids are taking an oath to defend Holy Mother Church. And of course, it's mainly a Catholic thing, obviously. But, there's other Christians. There's the Protestants, there's the Orthodox, and many other forms. And most people have their own rites of passage. Some description, but certainly in Latin Europe, this is very, very, very big. Same in Mexico, same in South America. So people who would say that Christianity is on its knees, you're deluded, they're crazy, they're mad. They need to come to somewhere like Spain or Italy and just, there's the bells. So just come and see it, and you'll see there is hundreds of millions of people still fully committed, fully engaged into the faith. Just because people don't go to church anymore doesn't mean to say they've gave up on the one true faith, and that's the reality. So will Europe fall? Well, if we don't have babies, of course we'll fall. Will we be wiped out off the face of the earth? No, never, because we follow Jesus Christ. He's already got the victory. He has promised us we can never perish from the face of the earth until he comes back and restores everything and destroys the wicked. So there's no real need to panic, but we really need to get our finger out, and we need to start having children, because children grow up to be soldiers. Soldiers take back lands. Spain had a reconquista that after 600, 700, 800 years of Muslim domination and slavery. In fact, the other day we were outside the church and the church was filled with chains. And we asked the chap, what are these chains? These were the last chains taken off Catholic slaves. that the Muslims had, they'd enslaved these people, and they hung all the chains outside the church hundreds of years ago, and they're still there to this day. Well, if we don't do something soon, those chains will be coming off that church and back onto your sons and daughters' legs. So have children. Children produce young men become soldiers, young soldiers can reconquista. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's not a complicated message. We need to breed God's holy army of warriors for the future, and we need to start that process now. So God bless you. I hope everybody today has a lovely communion, first communion. All the boys and girls and all the parents and grandparents should be very proud of them as they take their oath to defend the true faith, the Holy Church, all across this land. And I'll try and bring you a report later on today and some pictures, and you'll find it very interesting. Thank you and God bless you. Speak to you again.
The threat is real, and we are on the front line. In a world of misinformation and attacks from the left and mainstream media, censorship, deplatforming, it is time to call out the fake news and bring you the truth. We are the Knights Templar. Visit our website and join today. We are the Resistance. Deus Vult.